What's up, guys? As per request from a viewer, I'm going to do a couple videos about participles. So in this video, we're going to look at the active participles. So first, what is a participle? In this video, we're going to look at participles that use an action to describe the state of something. They have a verb root, but they do not have the verb ending. The forms that we're going to look at in this video are inta, anta, and onta. Inta means that the action already happened, anta means it's in the process or it's happening now, and onta means it's going to happen or about to happen. Because these end with an A, they're treated like adjectives, so sometimes they will be plural and sometimes they will be in the accusative. A tree that is falling is a fallanta arbol, a falling tree. So you're using the verb falli to describe the tree, and you're saying the tree is in the state of falling. A tree that fell is a fallinta arbol, a fallen tree or a tree that has fallen. So we changed the anta to inta because the action already happened. A tree that will fall is a fallonta arbol, a tree that's going to fall or about to fall. Cantantai birdoi are birds that are singing or singing birds, and notice that birdoi is plural and also cantantai is plural. Kuronta viro is a man who is going to run or about to run. Naginta testudo is a turtle that swam. We'll look at a couple examples to see how you would use these in sentences. Li sidis sur fallinta arbo. He sat on a fallen tree. What kind of tree is it? A tree that fell. Kie estas la boyanta hundo? Where is the barking dog or the dog that is barking? La brulanta arbusto parolis al li. The burning bush spoke to him. Something important to point out here is that parolis is past tense, and so what we're saying is at that time in the past when the bush spoke to him, the bush was burning then. The bush might not be burning now, but it was burning at that time. That's why it's brulanta, it's in the process at that time. La venontai gastoi estas de Hispanio. The guests who will come are from Spain. Active participles are used a lot in that way, but there's another way that you can use them. Complex verb forms. This use of participles isn't too common, but it is important to know. Mi aŭskultas muzikon. I listen to music or I am listening to music. You can use a participle here, and you can say mi estas aŭskultanta muzikon, which means I am in the state of listening to music. So this just translates to I am listening to music. Normally you would just use the simple form instead of the participle. Mi aŭskultis muzikon means I listened to music or I was listening to music or had listened to music. Mi estis aŭskultanta muzikon means I was listening to music. We changed estas to estis, so now instead of talking about the present tense with estas, we're talking about the past tense. So we're saying at that time in the past, the verb aŭskulti was ongoing or it was in the process. Mi aŭskultos muzikon, I will listen to music or will be listening to music. Mi estos aŭskultanta muzikon, I will be listening to music. We only change the conjugation of esti, and so what that does is changes when we are talking about, whether it's past, present, or future. For the next examples, we're going to use the verb dormeti, which means to nap or to take a nap. Mi estas dormetanta. We looked at this form already. This is I am napping. But what happens when you change the participle ending to something else? Mi estas dormetonta. Estas means that we're talking about now, but the onta means that the verb hasn't happened yet. So what we're saying is I am in a state of about to take a nap. So this means I'm about to take a nap or I'm going to take a nap. Mi estas dormetinta means I have napped or I have taken a nap. As of right now, napping already happened. It's in the past. That's why the inta is there. It's in the past. So what happens now if you change esti and the participle ending? Mi estis dormetonta means we're talking about the past, and at that time in the past, napping hasn't happened yet. I was about to take a nap. Mi estos dormitinta is kind of the opposite. We're talking about the future, and we're saying at that time in the future, napping already happened. I will have taken a nap. You might be wondering why I keep saying like it is in the state of doing something or had done something or about to do something. And here's a good example why I'm saying it this way. Li estas mortinta. This can translate to he has died. The more common translation usually is he is dead. And so if you think about it, if this person died already in the past, what are they now? That means they're dead. Normally, if I wanted to say he has died, I would just say li mortis instead. Just because you have esti next to a participle doesn't always mean it's going to be a complex verb form. It can just mean to be plus some sort of adjective. Knowing how to use participles is just as important as knowing when to use them. What are you doing? You should know how to say this already, and you should say it as kion vi faras. And so looking at the English, you have what are you doing, which is a participle, but normally in the spoken language at least, you don't use the participles really unless you need to use them. Although kion vi estas faranta is technically correct and grammatically correct, you wouldn't normally say it that way. Mi dormis kiam vi messagis al mi, kai tial mi ne respondis. I was sleeping when you messaged me, and that's why I didn't respond. Reading this, there's not really any ambiguity as to whether I was sleeping, whether I slept, was I about to sleep, or this or that. You can pretty much tell instantly what is meant. She ne povas paroli nun, she duŝas sin. She can't talk now, she's taking a shower. So again, in English, this is a participle, and in English, you use these crazy verb forms all the time, but in Esperanto, you just simplify it, so you don't need to use them. The last thing we're going to talk about is when you want to be more specific about something about to happen, or did it happen, or was it in the process, how you can do this without using participles. Ili manĝis kiam vi alvenis. This can translate as they ate when you arrived, they were eating when you arrived, or they had eaten when you arrived. To clarify this a little bit, you could change a couple words or rearrange a couple things. Ili jam komencis manĝi kiam vi alvenis. They already started eating when you arrived. Ili ankoraŭ manĝis kiam vi alvenis. They were still eating when you arrived. Ili finis manĝi antaŭ ol vi alvenis. They finished eating before you came, so changing the word from when to before makes it more clear. Ili jam finis manĝi kiam vi alvenis. They already finished eating when you arrived. Ili jam antaŭe manĝis kiam vi alvenis. They already previously ate before you came. In the spoken language, it would be a lot more natural to just rearrange the sentence a little bit or change a couple of words rather than using participles. They're used a lot in this way in writing, but when you speak, they're not really used as often. That's all I've got for this video. There is more to talk about with active participles, but I think this is enough for one video. We'll cover the rest in another video, so stay tuned for that, and tschüss!